FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
We don't have authority to police the world. Maybe it's well-intended, but a lot of things are well-intended, but good intentions won't get us anywhere. So we have now followed a foreign policy for all these years, and it's followed by both political parties. And it's interventionism. It's this idea that we can get involved in the internal affairs of other nations, tell other people how to live and what they should do and how they should run their lives. And we'll pretend we're doing it out of the goodness of our heart, but we usually do it only in countries that have oil. So when we wake up as a nation, and when you wake up as a generation, because it's not going away quickly, because even though last year there was an election and a lot of changes were made, the Republicans lost control of the House and the Senate, and the message was the people, 70% of the American people are tired of the war. So what have they done? Have they stood up to it? Has the new Congress done anything? No, they haven't done anything. They're scared to do anything because they're frightened to say that if we don't support the war, they'll say we don't support the troops. What about supporting the troops by keeping them out of these no-win wars? That's the best way to support the troops. But I've been accused of that, but standing on principle, I've been able to withstand the charges. And right now, I've been reassured more than ever before. Because in the last quarter, somebody went and looked at where the active military personnel sent their money, which campaigns. And lo and behold, our campaign received more money from the active military personnel than all the rest put together, Republicans and Democrats. And very simply, some people will say, well, would you ever go to war? Sure, we should go to war if we declare the war and somebody's threatening us. But why don't we go to war only the way the Constitution says? The Constitution says presidents aren't allowed to go to war just because they want to go to war. The president can only go to war if there's a declaration of war. But we haven't declared war since World War II. And we haven't won a war since World War II either. But just think of the trillions of dollars of suffering and the men and women who have died and the continual agony. And that is not even counting the ones on the other side that die. Over 1 million Iraqis have died since 2003. I mean, there's a limit to this. And unfortunately, the limit will come in a harsh way if we don't just have a wiser policy. Because all great nations and all great empires come to an end because of the internal problems at home, because of the expense, the economic ramifications. War, it's an absolute economic fallacy to say that war is good for the economy. Maybe for some people, maybe for the war profiteers, but overall, it is not good for the economy. We are now spending $1 trillion a year overseas, and this country is getting poorer. The middle class is hurting. The middle class is hurting not because they have less money. Everybody has more money in a general sense, but it's the money doesn't buy as much anymore. I mean, you're poorer because your gasoline prices go up, the cost of education goes up, the cost of medical care goes up, but the income never keeps up with it. And we now have to do something about it. And I would say that the easiest political place to cut is the overseas. So I didn't endorse the war. I think the war is wrong. I think we went in there for the wrong reasons. There were no weapons of mass destruction. There were no Al-Qaeda there. And there was no threat to our national security. Had nothing to do with 9/11. So if these were all mistakes, why just pursue it forever and ever? So my position there is very simple. If we have made a mistake to go in and it's a mistake to stay, why not just come home and save the money and save the lives? Now, a lot of people will even acknowledge and say, yeah, it was a mistake. And members on the floor tell me, if I knew what was going to happen, if I knew everything I knew now, in 2003, 2002 was when the vote came, I would have never voted for it. But we can't leave now, because we've messed up their country and we have to take care of it and rebuild their country. And they use that argument. Or there'll be more chaos. Well, the chaos in that whole region is because we're there. What would we do if somebody was here in our country? What if we had the Chinese? They look different. They have different values, different legal system, different religion. What if they decided they were going to impose their will on us and they were going to protect their oil supplies? I mean, we'd all be unified, believe me. And we'd all believe in the Second Amendment if that happened too.